with cars. Jeez. Not like Tony Khan wanted to. I guess in his mind, he had to. I mean, this man is still over in AEW, and he's not even there anymore.
Invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout, and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. Go to last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at Stockton Con.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of Stockton Con. The Value of Wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out to Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big Oos, San Jose. We done shut the shit down. Love and respect, though, right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank
It's the Value Wrestling. I'm the big time Mr. Z. We're here with the indie god himself, Matt Cardona. This is real. The Choppy is about to go down. Let's see it. Oh.
This guy just paid me $50. Matt Cardona, check out the Value of Wrestling.
Cool. Oh, you didn't know. We are the Value Wrestling. We are here with your post-show Monday Night Raw, the Road to Berlin, coming up on August 31st. That's Saturday. Early in the morning, another early morning weekend for the Value Wrestling as we get to dive into the Bash of Berlin, which should be a great show. Should be a great show for WWE. But we got some stuff to take care of, and I don't know where to start because I went on Twitter and my brain hurts right now because ignorance is not bliss. And Sean Ross Sapp has gone to Twitter and asked this question or made this statement: please turn Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed into Peter Griffin versus the Chicken from Family Guy.
Oh my God.
I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I just read that before we came on air. That's why I kind of rushed everything, because I'm sitting here going, seriously? This is you, Sean Rossap. You want to see certain... Yeah, okay, yeah. I can't think to be taken seriously because you make comments. Let's make it look like a cartoon show. This had the chicken and da-da-da-da. I mean, I guess that... I mean, they had a whole knockout, drag-out fight, so I guess there's some idea to it. But, I mean, the visual presentation, when you first think about that, just like, I don't want to see that. I don't.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't know. That's almost as bad as Will Ospreay getting excited to see Dave Meltzer at last night's Scrum. Oh yeah,
that's right. He did pop for Dave Meltzer, didn't he?
Yes.
Oh my
Will Ospreay popped at the Scrum for Dave Meltzer.
Hi, Dave.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude, what is wrong with you?
And Mercedes Moné got asked about her divorce. And another commentator said, what was the word about the FTW title? A fake title and not real title. Something along those lines. I don't remember the exact words, and Taz referred to it like, oh yeah.
Right.
It's pretty real. I mean, the guy did kind of back up and say, I wasn't trying to say it that way. I my bad, but yeah. Oh, the Scrum must have been interesting last night in detail. I've just caught bits and pieces of it. I guess I didn't really want to sit through any more AEW after what we watched. So, yeah, it was...
the 0 hour, the main card, our podcast talking about it.
Yes.
And then a few hours later, I watched most of the Scrum just for the fun of it.
Yeah. And Will Ospreay popped
I want to fall asleep to it, essentially.
Will Ospreay popping for Dave Meltzer is still something. I don't know if I can ever just, like, why? Whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. Yeah. Monday Night Raw tonight. We're going to the Bash for Berlin. We're on the road to the Bash for Berlin. That's going to be Saturday, August 31st. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to go down this Saturday. The Bash for Berlin. An early morning for us. And a long, long day for me and Mr. Z. As after the Bash of Berlin, we'll be heading to Sacramento, California, to the California Automobile Museum for Supreme Pro Wrestling's Cruising for Bruising. I still don't think there's an actual card to this event that I have seen, so we will not be talking about a card, but I will just quickly check. I'm trying to do something. I have an order from Dutch Brothers coming, so we'll see when that gets here. But anywho, yeah, no card for the Cruising for the Bruising show, but that is going to take place at the California Automobile Museum at 2200 Front Street in Sacramento, California. Doors open at 5 p.m. First bell at 6 p.m. Tickets are $20. Go over to Supreme Pro Wrestling on Facebook. You can sign up there. Eventbrite.com is their page where you can purchase tickets. But go to the Supreme Pro Wrestling's Facebook page, and they will get you to hook up. I don't know if I have that linked in the description below. If not, after the show, I will post it up. So please forgive me if it's not there right now. Are we live? Are we running in color, Mr. Z? Let me reset everything because Facebook. All right. Well, hi, Kayla. Good to see you in the chat. Howdy, y'all. No, howdy wrestle tonight. So that's a different story. We'll get into that momentarily. Raw, welcomed. Of course, we started the show like we should be starting the show. Hi, gosh, I feel old sometimes when I watch some stuff, and when stuff comes up, and I feel like my childhood's dying. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I was a super fan of Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, whatever you want to call him, but he has had some of the greatest moments in professional wrestling. Although maybe not some of the greatest in the best moments, but some of the best comedy moments in professional wrestling, whether it would be, I have half the brain that you have, or the infamous Goldberg squishing his car and him jumping up and down on a smush car, crying for Goldberg, or the infamous the Masters of the Powerbomb, where he was tagging up with Big Van Vader, WCW, to take on Sting and Davey Boy Smith during a lot of the Dusty Rhodes dramatic scenes where they were cutting scenes on the beats to promote their vignettes. Or whether it was Psycho Sid being the new bodyguard to Shawn Michaels, turning on him, becoming the world champion, then losing the title back to Shawn Michaels at the Royal Rumble in San Antonio, Texas. Or Sid coming back in powerbombing Heath Slater, or any of the other random things that Sid has done in his career that have been entertaining and fun. Everybody has a different opinion, and we won't talk about the nasty leg injury he took. One time, I think we've all seen him climb up on the rope.
Took it from my mind.
But we are going to go ahead and take the 1 minute pause. Remember the late, the great Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Ed Undy.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I don't have his name in front of me at the moment. And that's probably not a good thing. I should have had it in front of me. Come on, computer. Let's move. Oh, Sidney Raymond Udi. I hope that's pronouncing it right. If not, please forgive me. I'm not a master of names. But we're gonna take a moment of silence for Sid. We thank you for joining us in that moment of silence for the passing. He passed away, I believe, due to cancer. Information I've gotten or read, and sadly, he didn't make it to the Hall of Fame before he passed away, because I think he would have been an interesting person to see what type of speech he would give what type of speech he would give if he had been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. There's some people that you may say, well, what did he really do to deserve a spot? I think he's done a lot for the business in his own right, but I would also think it would be interesting just to hear him talk, because he wasn't necessarily one of the big talkers in wrestling. He was just a big man.
Mm.
So it'd be interesting to see him, and it's
He
really
just talking through his actions.
yes. And it's interesting when somebody posted a meme earlier of Sid Vicious, Earthquake, Big Van Vader, and Yokozuna, and talked about the era of the big men, growing up in the era of big men, and that's true. I mean, for a lot of us, I know me. I'm sure Mr. Clarke feels the same way. We did grow up in the era of the big man. And of course, we also grew up in the era of the Hulk Hogan's and the Ultimate Warriors, who were the over-the-top superheroes who need these really big men to feel like they were a threat to the hero to overcome. And of course, they also helped play a role in getting the people like Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart, Sting and Flair, and numerous other people over in their illustrious career that weren't necessarily the big superhero guys, but the true wrestler styling of wrestling. You know, the little man that you would think, oh no, how are they going to overcome these big men? Yes. Welcome to the show. Anyways, Braun Breaker's walking through the parking lot. American made is walking in the parking lot. Braun Strowman's walking through the parking lot. So does Bronson Reed. We're opening to this. And the music hits, and here comes Judgment Day. The group soaks in the booze before Liv goes on and says, welcome to Monday Night Raw, in her best Rhea Ripley impression. And all rise, she goes on to say. Vince says they should remind everyone what Judgment Day is all about, and they roll the tape of them beating down Rhea and Damien, the twin terrors, and taking it to Dom before Liv and the rest of the group decimated the duo. Carlito says, that was cool. JD says that the beating they took was a long time coming. Vince says that's right, and says one thing needs to be made clear. They're not the bad guys here. Damien and Rhea are, because they betrayed Judgment Day and got what they deserve. And what happened last week was a preview of what will happen at Bash in Berlin. Liv says she would thank Rhea if she wasn't so self-serving and egotistical. None of this would be happening. And at Bash, when they're standing over Damien and Rhea's broken bodies, she hopes Rhea realizes that Liv and Daddy Dom will always be on top. Dom starts to talk. He gets the chorus of boos. He's back to the super heel. He was almost in this phase of becoming a babyface. He was almost a babyface running with Rhea. When he turned on Rhea, he brought the heat back to him. It's incredibly crazy to think that this man brought. He's kind of had that Rocky Maivia treatment. When he first came in, he was running with his daddy, and people were kind of like, okay, but really not big fans of him. And then when he turned on his daddy, the boos rained out. I mean, he almost got Rocky Maivia. I'm surprised we didn't get die signs, but he was about there. Then when he aligned himself with Rhea, and Rhea started kind of turning, and the fans were loving Rhea, he was kind of bringing Dom. Dom was kind of getting that little bit of babyface rub. He was playing that perfect Eddie Guerrero. I mean, it was so Eddie Guerrero in China, and I'm so sad that we don't have that now. Who knows? Maybe at some point we can patch things up and get back there. There's always loopholes. I mean, there's always a second chance in love, right? So here we are. Dom is just getting the boos back. I mean, this man went from being booed like this to starting to be loved to being just rained at and booed by Tree and Ichi. This shows you how much the fans really love Rhea and everything Rhea has done for the business in the time she's been around, which is not that long of a career, at least in WWE. But I mean, this woman is so loved and gives so much and is such an amazing talent. But yeah, he was, I mean, just booed and heckled like he was. Carlito goes off in the crowd. Dom follows suit, both in Spanish. Dom finally says Liv does things for him that Rhea has never done, like help him beat his deadbeat dad. The crowd shouts, Dom, you suck. Dom says with Liv's full support, he's entering the IC Championship #1 contender tournament and will win the whole damn thing, showing everyone why he is Jefe. Out comes Rey Mysterio with the rest of the LWO. They walk in the ring. Rey has the mic, and they get in the ring and confront Judgment Day. Ray stares down his son and says, have you looked in the mirror recently? He says, Dom is a lost soul and is out of control and needs help. He says, at least when was with Rio, one of them had a set, and it wasn't Dom. He says someone needs to put Dom in his place. Dom says he's already beat Ray, who went and disappeared for weeks. Ray says Dom has always been a jackass, but now that he's hanging out with Liv, he's an even bigger jackass. Liv says no one talks to the women's world champion like that, tells Dom to handle him. Ray says to hit him so he can knock that stupid mustache off his face. Dominic challenges Ray to hit him. They bicker back and forth before JD McDonough takes a swing at Ray, takes him out, and all hell breaks loose. And we go to a break. And when we come back, we find out that the match is made official by Adam Pearce, LOWO versus Judgment Day. And a basic solid match here. This match went about 12 minutes, 49 seconds. Ray back in with Dom. Drop toe hold 619. Ray calls for the finish. Frog splash. Rep is distracted. Rep pulls Dom out of the way. Cradle for Dom. 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day with the big win. After the match, Judgment Day take Ray to the announce table and lay him across it. Dom looks like he's about to frog splash Ray across the announce table when the twin terrors, the terrors of twin, the twin towers, the tower terrors, the terror towers, the twin towers, whatever they're called, come out. Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are here. They remove their jackets and they run down the ramp, circle the ring. Dom is still standing stupidly on the top, not even on the top turnbuckle, but on the post. He's standing there while the rest of the Judgment Day,
like a lost little kid.
Like the rest of the Judgment Day, Rhea chases after Liv and catches her, sends her into the barricade and then into the ring. Liv takes it. Rhea enters the ring. Dom looks to leave, but Priest is on the outside. He hops back in. Priest to clock Dom. In comes JD and Finn. Carlito, Rhea with the clothesline to JD. Priest seats Carlito with the clothesline too. Finn and Liv and Dom are outside. Livid. Rhea and Priest hit stereo finishers on Carlito and JD. So, interesting scenario. The twin towers, the twin terrors, standing tall.
Thank you.
Here tonight, but I have to say, and we'll discuss this more on Friday night, but I will have to say, I don't think they're going to get the win here. It wouldn't logically make sense to let them beat Liv and Dom at this point. It's going to be very interesting how this match is going to go down, how this match is going to play out, and how Liv and Dom are going to get this win. It's got to be kind of a miraculous win. I don't know if there's going to be shenanigans, granted, but I still think they'll get a pinfall. I don't think it'll be a disqualification, but it'll still be something funky like a monkey. Whether it's Dom happened, whether it's the Priest getting rolled up by getting distracted by, it's going to be an interesting thing. But I do want to say I think that they will probably get the pinfall win. It won't be a complete DQ, but it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be.
It'll be kind of like tonight with Dom pinning Ray.
Yeah,
it'll be by shenanigans that the referee doesn't see.
Exactly. Your thoughts on this first match of the night, LWO versus Judgment Day?
The LWO these days don't impress me because they don't do enough with them. And I'm just like, fortunately, Ray can take the pin and it's not going to hurt him because he is such a legend. He's got so much clout. He's got so much equity. And the whole point at this point is to kind of help put Dom over. So, I mean, it was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It served its purpose.
Backstage, The Miz is with Jackie. Jackie asks The Miz if he's ready for the IC title tournament. Miz agrees that he has a couple of bad weeks. Every time he tries to do the right thing, it goes wrong. But tonight he will right those wrongs. He will get one step closer to the title. He made prestigious the title that if he wins, he becomes tied with the most wins. But out comes Bronson Reed to tell Miz that Miz came after him because he took out R-Truth. R-Truth came out after him because he took out Rollins. Now Braun is involved, and he is losing track of all the people he must maim. So once he maims Braun, he's coming back for the Miz, and that's Braun Strowman, not Braun Breaker. So B-R-A-U-N Braun, not the B-R-O-N Braun. Braun, not Braun. Damage Control in the ring, waiting for their match. We head backstage with Kathy Kelly, who is with PFC, as this person wants to put it. Whatever Fusion something. I don't even remember how to say their name. Pro Fusion. I don't know.
Pure Fusion Collective.
Yeah.
Pure Fusion Collective.
Pure Fusion Collective. PFC. PFC takes on Damage Control. We start quickly. Well, we won't get that confused with PCO. So don't get PFC confused with PCO. PCO is a great thing in TNA.
Oh,
PFC is pretty frequently challenged, I think, is what the issue is here, but we won't get into that. We start quickly, and then we've got to
break. The name sucks. The group is cool.
Yes and no. Come back to Shane working over Shayna and Zoe. She corners them, and then they attack Zoe. Then a running forearm to Shayna. Shane to the top rope. She flies and hits a fist to the chin. Cover on Zane. 1, 2, 3. It's a match. It went 7 minutes, 38 seconds on the outside. Zelina Vega shows up attacking Sonya Deville in the ring. Shane kicks Zoe away. Shane flies with an elbow. Io hits a moonsault to the outside. Cover 1, 2, 3. Damage Control picks up a win here over PFC. Zelina Vega helping Damage Control win because Damage Control is now the baby faces. Sky Pirates. PFC. Yeah. It's really hard for me to digest this all. I'm not. PFC's okay. Shayna and Zoe aren't bad. Sonya Deville is good on the mic. Should be a better manager or valet than I think a wrestler. Shayna and Zoe would be great if they really do something with them. Them losing to Damage Control is kind of. I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's whatever. Sonya Deville is very serviceable. The problem is she's always been booked to not be that next tier wrestler. So it's like, of course, there's some people who are just going to look at her like, what is she? You know?
Yeah,
like, she's got the tools. She just hasn't been pushed in that main event women's division status.
I look at Shane and Zoe and Sonya Deville in here, and I'm just kind of like, okay, we don't know what to do with these three women, so we're throwing them together. Damage Control is hanging on by threads. And again, the other thing I still have a hard time with is Damage Control turned babyface with no real good reason. Like, there's been no, like, let's patch this little hole of they did all this crap just recently, and now that Asuka and Dakota Kai are kind of missing from action, and the Sky Pirates are left, now all of a sudden they, like, by proxy became babyfaces. And I'm kind of like that. We're missing a big loophole in trying to make this make sense, please. Like, yeah. I mean, I love Io Sky and Kairi Sane, especially.
And Go ahead. I think the major problem with Damage Control is the fact that the whole mission statement, the whole premise is that they're supposed to be running the division. Well, you can still do that as faces. It is possible to write that story, but you have to kind of phase into it. You have to show us.
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, we're the best, and that's it.
Yeah, no, they just kind of like came out and attacked.
And they still haven't given us any reason to cheer for them, per se.
Yeah. It's a weird, like, it's hard to digest at times. So I'm kind of like, after all the crap they did, we're just supposed to jump up and go, yay. It's kind of like there's got to be the redemption arc in this a little bit somewhere at some point. Anyways, from there we had Bo Dallas. He has a VHS promo. He says that they nearly stepped on a serpent. They won't make that mistake again. The false prophet continues to reveal himself to the world, masquerading as a loving shepherd while marching them into the arms of the wolves. They are not a family. It's blasphemous. Chad, they have given him the chance after chance, inflicting fear and suffering, yet he refuses to remove the scales from his eyes. His arrogance is like a beast. Thou must cut off the head so the blood rains down and washes away the sins of the wicked. He accepts Chad's challenge, his invitation. This is more than a reckoning. This is a purge. Bo Dallas doing what Bo Dallas does great with back and forth, the voice changer, the Uncle Howdy mask. I think they're doing something good here. We just have to let it grow and manifest. It's not just going to happen at licknick speed, but right now, what they're doing with Chad Gable, we're going to have to see how it feels. But they are also leaving a lot of messages with a Finn Balor and some other people, if you're paying attention to the hints. Or at least checking out. If you go on X or anything afterwards, there's a lot of people out there going, oh, did you see this? So the information's out there. Anything you want to add to that segment?
So I guess you don't believe yet in Uncle Howdy.
Oh, I believe in Uncle Howdy for sure. I love Uncle Howdy. I think Uncle Howdy is great. I can't wait to see what they're really going to do with this and how this really manifests into the bigger picture. right now he's feuding with Chad Gable, and the story's there.
Yeah.
We're telling a good story. It just has to manifest and pay off. You know what I'm saying? So they can move to the next part. But we know that they have issues with Finn Balor and a couple other people on the roster, so it's very interesting. And we need to get the other boys involved in something. Maybe it's time to have them start attacking Judgment Day. I don't want them to focus on either the Wyatt Sick, as in Eric Rowan and Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis, or Uncle Howdy, or Nikki Cross, one at a time. I'm like, they all need to kind of have something that they're doing, even if they're not all doing it together. So I definitely want to see them more on wrestling too. Up next, we have Drew McIntyre. He comes out in his leather vest, looking like a full-grown version of Jack Perry. He looks like the adult version of Jack Perry. Yes, I said that off air, and I will say it again. He looked like, the grown man Jack Perry coming out to the ring, all ready for action. Of course, wearing the bracelet. He grabs the mic and mocks Punk's promos from last week about little Timmy traveling from the moon to worship him. Drew takes the cross-legged approach and wonders if he has our attention now. Drew says Punk is afraid of him. He's known since the Rumble. Punk keeps attacking him from behind. Why does he keep going? Because we keep chanting his name. He says our cheers are like giving him, like giving alcohol to an alcoholic. It's made Punk do some stupid things. He challenges Drew to a strap match, but once he's sobered up, he realizes Drew is going to kill him. Every time he lashes Punk with a strap, it will be on our conscience because we cheered him. We will have to live with every scar he puts on Punk's body. We have chosen nostalgia over the warrior that's been there for us in the darkest of times, which is very apropos because he was there during COVID as our champion. So, I mean, that story is so resonant, so true. About what he's saying is, hey, I was there when COVID was going on. Where was Punk? Where was Punk? Anywho, funny how this piece of trash on his wrist causes so much hurt for Punk. So just like what he'll wear on his wrist this Saturday. And, of course, the music Punk hits. Punk comes out. Drew readies himself. But Punk doesn't come out the entranceway. Punk, who was on Instagram as Drew McIntyre was giving his promo, because CM Punk was under the ring on Instagram Live until he came out from under the ring and attacked Drew from the back. But he was actually on Instagram Live. You can check Twitter. You can check Instagram. It has been posted. I was shocked. He was actually talking while he was under the ring, letting people know where he was. He goes up. He swipes across the back. Drew leaves the ring. Punk into the steps. He beats Punk down. Drew removes his vest and scrunchie and grabs the stack. Back body drop to Punk. Punk, who has the strap, he beats Drew a bit and gives him some right hands. And out comes security. Punk enters the ring. Security surrounds him. So he starts to beat them down. So Punk was on top. Then Drew kind of dominated there for a minute. And then Punk got back. And then security came rushing down. Drew took off through the crowd. And Punk started whipping on the security. And my only thought is, where was our buddy, AJ Kirsch? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that good buddy of the Value Wrestling. AJ Kirsch, where are you, buddy? Was this one of those calls you didn't want to take from WWE? Was this one of the times you're like, I'm good? Of course, that also leaves me wondering, what does a suspended cop do with his time? Or has that suspension been lifted? I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that on September 28th when we do our interview with AJ Kirsch. It's going to be a sit-down interview. It's going to be a great time. It won't be live. It'll be recorded. We're going to record it, and then it'll be on the channel. But, yeah, very interesting. I'm like, what? AJ, you didn't want to take that call? Anywho, we love our boy AJ. He probably is getting ready to hand out, or is out at Burning Man. I don't know exactly when Burning Man is. Okay. So, anywho, yes, AJ. Can't wait to sit down and see him. Okay, we're breaking up. I see what you're sending. Yeah, I know sometimes we break up. We should be good now. It's been cooking. What's been cooking, Mr. Z? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, awesome moment here between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. CM Punk is still going to win this match. Has to win this match on Saturday night. It's the only thing that makes sense. I still say it's going to be by the skin of his brow. I mean, it's going to be one of those. Drew is going to screw
Skin of his
him.
teeth.
Yes. Drew's going to screw it up. I don't know how. I think it's going to be Drew's going to be touching all four corners, but Punk's at the same time. And when they come to that last corner, him and Punk are going to go in it, and then he's going to shove Punk in the corner, which is going to give Punk the win, not knowing that Punk had tagged all four corners. But at the end of the day, yes, Drew's probably going to look like he came out the winner, but it'll be CM Punk who gets the win. I don't think this will be a dominant win by Punk. I think this is going to be Punk getting just barely by. So you can even up the score 1-1, go to bed, Hell in a Cell, Punk and Drew. That's where CM Punk is going to shine down bright. Even though Punk said he never wanted to wrestle in another Hell in a Cell. But I see it coming. Drew, Punk, Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood. This is going to be that's going to be a 5-star match predicted right now. Now, will Meltzer give it 5 stars? No, because, well, Meltzer doesn't know how to give anything WWE 5 stars. But that's a whole different story. And that's your Will Ospreay. Dave! Weirdo. You get excited? You get that excited when Kyle Fletcher comes home to you? I mean, your wife comes home to you? Excuse me? Anyway, so you have anything you want to add to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? I'm on a roll tonight. I know. I'm lit up like a Christmas tree.
And I'm glad that there's not another week in between, now and Bash of Berlin, because the promo was cool. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like they're treading water. They got to do the fights. They got to do something to kind of keep interest so we get to the actual match. Like, I just want to get to the match now.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this match. This is probably
I'm glad it's this Saturday.
This is probably the one thing other than the main event match. It's going to be exciting. And of course, right after this weekend on Saturday, then the next Saturday is going to be All Out in Chicago. How's that make you feel? Busy weekends. We're going to have another 4-day weekend of live TV, right here, live YouTube, or whatever you want to call it, because we just did 4 days. This is our 4th day straight of being live on the channel. Starting Friday, when we do SmackDown, we'll do our SmackDown show review, and then after that, we'll do our predictions for Bash of Berlin. Saturday, we'll be live after the Bash of Berlin to give you a full breakdown on the Bash of Berlin. Oh, no, we won't. Never mind. I take that back. Me and Mr. Z will be live with your Supreme Pro Wrestling Bruising for a Cruising show. Then Sunday on the Rebound, we'll do our Bash of Berlin live on that. We'll do our Leaky Roundup. We will do our post-show review of the Bash of Berlin on Sunday. Then we'll be back the following Monday for your Monday Night Raw post show, and then that next Friday we won't be live, so at least we'll have a break there due to scheduling issues. We will not have a live SmackDown review show for that night, and then we'll be back Saturday for your post show on All Out in Chicago, and then your weekly roundup, and then Monday Night Raw, and then we'll finally have a couple weeks off to decompress. Well, no, actually, I take that back, because that Sunday, the 15th, we're going to be back at Elk Grove with Supreme Pro Wrestling at Plead the 5th at the Indoor Soccer Arena. Oh, my Jesus, we are busy. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, at some point, this place was going to kick off. And if you hadn't become a subscriber or a member or joined us yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, because the kettle's getting hot. The pot is boiling. We are live. We are making moves like every day, making moves. We are definitely getting deep into the deep end of all of this stuff that we've been talking about for so long that it's finally coming to fruition. Because, I mean, this Saturday, Bash of Berlin, Supreme Pro Wrestling, Cruising for a Bruise, and then we go into next week, All Out. And then right after that, we're going to turn around, Supreme Pro Wrestling, Plead the 5th. Then at the end of September, the 28th, that last Saturday, we're going to be at Stockton Con. You have MVP, Shout and Benjamin going to be there. Who knows what will happen with that? And, of course, we're going to have that beautiful, lovely sit-down interview, if everything goes correct, with AJ Kirsch, which is going to be a beautiful time. And then we're in October, November. It's going to be an interesting time as the Value Wrestling heads to the end of this year. It's getting party time. It's getting fun. We're ready to grow. Subscribe. Help grow the channel. Share this out with friends, family, and everybody that you know that loves professional wrestling, loves to talk about it, loves to hear about it. Because we're doing it. We're going to bang it out. We're going to become the best, the very best. You can count on it. You can take that check and take it to the bank and cash it, because it's going to be a fact. It ain't going to bounce. It ain't rubber. Anyways, I think I've hyped up ourselves so much now. Anywho. The triple...
How's your voice feeling?
My voice is good. The first three-way dance for the number one contender four-way dance, if I get this all correctly. So this is a triple threat match. The winner of this match is to be put in a four-way match for the number one contendership for the Intercontinental title, which is currently held by Braun Breaker, not to be confused with Braun Strowman. We're talking about the Breaker, the B-R-O-N, the son of a Steiner. Breaker. Anyways, first match, Jey Uso, Kofi Kingston, and Karrion Kross. Now, I don't know how to feel, and I don't know how you feel about Jey Uso, and I don't know how Mr. Clarke feels about Jey Uso right now, and the rumors circulating, or if Rikishi's just stirring the smoke to stir the smoke, but a lot of reports are coming out from Rikishi saying that Jey Uso may leave WWE for AEW because of his booking, and I'm like, I thought Jey Uso's in a very prominent position, and if he's getting in the ring to be in the Intercontinental tournament, then I mean, I don't know what's wrong with his booking. I think he's one of the biggest stars in the company right now. I think that he will probably reform with Roman Reigns in the bloodline here very soon. The story is kind of there, so I don't know what Rikishi's complaining about, or if this is just pot stirring and trying to get hype or talk. This is coming from Rikishi, not Jey Uso.
Well, just as a quick note, on Wednesday in Markham We Trust, Jane has got something to say about that.
Oh, Jane's going to give the ridiculous impression, and I have a feeling she's going to fully support Jey Uso going to AEW. He's going to be another guy who gets lost in the shuffle. What are they going to do? Are they going to debut him like they did Ricochet? I'm sorry. And I love Ricochet, and I know Ricochet's talking all his points, and go for it, Ricochet. I hope you show it differently. I hope that you're able to push through AEW and shine bright and be a bright light in AEW, but I don't have any faith in the booking team over there that's going to allow you the opportunity, and I think they proved that to me on yesterday's show, when they dropped you as the 10th entrance in a gauntlet match for the world for number one contendership at the world title, and they didn't really let you spotlight anything. No big entrance, no big build or moment to make the fans go, ooh, wow, what's this? Oh, yay. They didn't build the anticipation. They just had you come out there. You looked like you were coming out for a regular match, like you've been there for 3 months. You didn't feel special. And if you don't have that great first impression, I don't know if it's going to live up to the hype. I think you can change that because you're that talented and that great. But I don't know if the booking is going to allow you to ever get to that point. I'm afraid the booking is going to rush you into a match with Ospreay. Then that magic's then that magic's going to be dead, because once you see it, you can only see that for the first time one time. And granted, yes, you guys could have a great feud and have many matches, but that first time is the only magic time. And if you don't really let that simmer and cook and bake and become something that's just the most talked about thing in wrestling, you blow it. And I think Tony Khan's going to blow it. Anyways, sorry, I go on a tangent. Things get me all worked up. When people talk about people doing this, I'm like, why are we worried about this? If this man, I don't know what they're complaining about, because he's not in the world title picture match, because he's not a world champion. I don't know if Jey Uso's there just yet, and it doesn't really make sense where you have Gunther right now. The story is Gunther. Let's let Gunther have his title reign for a little bit. I don't want to see Gunther lose that title too quickly. And I don't want to see necessarily Jey Uso get in here and be fed to Gunther only to lose, because I would like to see a point where we can actually buy into Jey Uso possibly being the guy that might beat Gunther. But if you rush that and put Jey Uso in there right now, then I'm like, oh, it's not really that exciting, because Jey's just going to get fed to Gunther. It's not the time to change. So, I mean, I think Jey Uso's in the right spot. And, of course, he won tonight with a big splash, a spear to cross, and then Jey to the top rope, a splash to cover. 1, 2, 3. This match went 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Jey Uso moves on to the four-way dance for the number one contender spot of the Intercontinental title. It was a decent match with the men that were in this, and I don't know your thoughts on this match, your thoughts on everything I said.
The match was all right. I was actually expecting more shenanigans between Kofi Kingston and Karrion Kross, just because that's been, the New Day and Final Testament story. But It was actually more straight up than I expected. Yeah. I mean, all right.
Do you feel Jey Uso is being used in a bad spot? I mean, should he be in the main event right
Not at all.
Okay.
I think that Rikishi thinks more of his son. First of all, I think he's only looking at his son. I don't think he's looking at the total picture of what Raw needs at the moment. He's not thinking about the business. He's just saying he doesn't think Jay's being used to his optimum. And maybe he's not. But he's in a very good spot. He's making money. He's popular. He's selling merchandise. Like, what more? He's got TV time. What more do you need, really?
He would be so lost in AEW. So lost. They wouldn't have anything for him to do over there. He'd be a lost member in that. He'd just be lost. I don't think Jay can necessarily stand in a company like AEW alone and be what he is. They wouldn't know what to do with him. They would use the cheap pop to try to get the bloodline storyline over there, and I don't think it would have the same feel and vibe. And I think he's going to realign himself with Roman. And again, here's my other thing to you, Rikishi. If you're so upset that Jay's not being used, what about Jimmy? You remember your other son, Jimmy? Or how about Solo? I mean, he's in the main event, but I mean, do you think they're really making Solo look like the badass that he should be? I mean, you're only complaining about Jay here. I'm very confused. What's going on here? And I haven't heard anything that Jay's complaining about it. I just hear that Daddy Rikishi is. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's just Daddy.
I think it's just Rikishi just stirring just to get controversy, to get people talking on the internet. I don't know how much of him is really being true and not being a character of Rikishi. And maybe he's building to something. Maybe Rikishi's going to wind up back on TV. And why he hasn't wound up back on TV, I don't know. With the Bloodline storyline and Rikishi being the daddy of all these guys, I'd be getting Rikishi in here one way or another. Whether you align him with Solo to help be a talking piece for the new Bloodline, or whether you bring him in to help bring Jimmy and Jay back together and make peace and build that story and bring him back to Roman or something. There's stuff that I think you could do with Rikishi.
For sure.
On either side. You could have the babyface fixing the family, or you could have him align with his baby boy. And that would be perfectly sense. This is my boy. I'm going to stand by my boy and go full heel.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially since we can move away from that old Rikishi dance gimmick that he was stuck with and make him Rikishi, kind of like the daddy Rikishi. These are my boys, standing.
Right.
I think we could get a good Rikishi out of that. Anyways, from there we had Randy Orton out here. Now, Gunther was already overseas. He's already been promoted Bash Berlin. He's already basically home, Austria. But he's over there doing his rounds, so that's why he was on the show. And Randy Orton came out and cut one of the best Randy Orton promos I think we've seen in years. He gets in the ring. He wants to thank the fans for singing the song. He says that he used to hear the voices in his head, but now the voices he listens to is us. The singing means everything to him, even though it took us 15 years to sing it. He's won a lot of titles, but the one he enjoys the most is the one Gunther has. 10 years ago, he was given the honor to unify the two world titles at that time. In that moment, he retired the World Heavyweight title with his name engraved on it, a title that years ago, and then a year ago, the title was reborn, but he was at home on the couch recovering. It was also the title that he won and became the youngest World Heavyweight champion. And he wasn't able to perform. He'd do everything in his power to one day to make sure that his name got engraved on that title one more time. This Saturday is his shot, the new World Heavyweight champion, the new title, the new legacy. Orton says he grew up in front of us. He was humbled. And Gunther, though, he's never been put in his place. This Saturday, though, that's what he's intending to do. All this match ever had to be about was the title, but Gunther wanted to make it personal. He talked about Orton's family, the demons he's faced. Orton sure has faced some, but each of those demons was tougher than Gunther would ever be. Orton has beat those demons just like he'll beat Gunther. He cut a passionate promo. He talked about how he had to take out the shadows that were holding him back, the legends, and took them out, but he still had to be humble. He overcame, and he earned every bit of respect. This is one of the best passionate promos from Randy Orton that felt real, that felt true to the Orton being, and I loved it. This makes me want to go, you know what, I kind of want Orton to win now, even though I know it's not going to happen. Orton's going to help put Gunther over onto another level, but I mean, after this promo, you're kind of like, I kind of want to see Randy win. I kind of want to see Randy get that 15th world title. I kind of want it. And that's what's Randy's job, to make you want him to win on Saturday. Will he? Probably not. But at least they're setting that table, they're setting that place, and making me want to see Randy win it. Definitely. It's good stuff. Thank you, good sir. Go ahead. Your thoughts?
Randy Orton turning into the Heartbreak Kid in the sense of he's going to be destroying your dreams, I guess. Because your intellect, wherever your heart is, your intellect knows Gunther's going over.
Yep.
There was just, I would never stake my life on it, but I might stake some money on it.
Yes. But you do feel that with this promo they gave, Randy cut a good enough promo that you're kind of like, I kind of want it. I can believe in it. And that's all I asked for. At least give me some reason to believe that there's a possibility, even though
See, it's how you phrase that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think.
Now, he's like, I don't personally want it, so, but I understand your perspective when you say you could believe in it. Yes.
Well, I want it. Randy did enough to make me kind of want it. Is it realistic? No. Do I want it in the big term? No, because Gunther just won the title. I want to see this run with Gunther. Gunther needs it in the long run. But Randy did enough of a job for me to make me go, I wouldn't be that mad if it happened. If they totally
like I said,
that direction.
I can follow that logic.
So I guess it's a better way of putting it than necessarily the first way. But I mean, it's like this promo did enough for it to make you go, okay. I at least there's viability that you've given me enough to go, maybe, just a 0.1% of doubt is enough to really at least make me happy that you gave me something to go. Now there's some reason to maybe believe. And when you watch the match and Randy comes real close to winning it, that you just might believe that they're going to do it. And that's what I love about wrestling, is when they can pull me back in just enough to give me just enough of belief, put a little bit of doubt. Even if it's 0.1% of a doubt, and my intellectual brain can tell me Gunther's winning. There's no reason Gunther shouldn't win this. Gunther's going to Randy's going to do this match. This match is going to be a banger of a match. Randy is going to take Gunther to a different level. This is going to elevate Gunther. Gunther's going to be a more dominant champion. This is kind of going to be like, if you want to talk about AEW, this is going to kind of be like Schwarber beating Ospreay. It's going to take him to that next level. It's going to help solidify his title reign. It's going to do all that stuff. But Randy still gave me enough to say, I can go into my heart, I can go into my brain and go, I will give it a 0.1% point to say, they might pull the trigger and give Randy his 15th title reign. Will it happen in full depth and if a deep dive, and we'll do more of that on Friday? No. But at least they gave me a reason to believe in Randy tonight. That's the key. Just give me a reason to believe in that both competitors have a chance. I don't care if it's a 1/1,000,000th of a chance, as long as you give me a little bit of glimmer of going, there's something there that possibly, you give me enough to believe that CM Punk should be.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yes. CM Punk should beat Drew, but I still have to, there's still a part of me that says Drew might do it. They might go 2-0, and this might lead to CM Punk being 2 down from Drew and still upset, not get the bracelet back. But, again, when you give me enough to at least believe that both men have an opportunity to win, even if it's 1/1,000,000th of a chance, it makes it a little more than just sitting here going, we can see who's going to win the match, because then it's kind of hard to really be invested in that match.
There are those fans that are like that, and there are fans who all it is about the match.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, what do we have here? Randy living his best life. Yes. If the Usos and the original Bloodline come back, what would Solo do? Well, Solo's going to lead Bloodline 2.0. Roman should bring back the original Bloodline. Who else joins in that? I don't know. We know Hikuleo's still out there. Zilla Fatu's out there. The Rock is out there. Rikishi's out there. Sami Zayn could play a part in this. And Cody Rhodes is definitely going to have to play some part in this, since the way Roman came in to help Cody take down Solo, there's still payoff from that is to come. So, yeah, Solo is going to lead the other Bloodline. And right now, the other Bloodline took down the original Tribal Chief, left him laying in the ring. So, that's kind of the last scenario we have. What is going to happen next? We have to wait and see. Anyways, in the meat Fight of the night. Mr. Tasty Toes himself's favorite match for the night. The big man got it on like Donkey Kong as Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman went 1-on-1. We had a suicide dive from Reed in the middle of this match. These guys fell out of the ring into the back. Bronson Reed tossed it. Braun Strowman tosses Reed off the top rope, but ran 1 point like Ric Flair back in the day. Whenever Ric Flair got up on the top rope, babyface would stand up and jump him over. They did the same thing. Goozled of Braun. This fight ran out. Reed went to leave. Braun Strowman went to chase him. Reed got through Gorilla and then waited on the other side of the curtain with the trash can. When Braun walked through, he launched that trash can right at him, staggering the big man, Braun Strowman. They fight to the back of the arena. Reed tosses Braun into the tables, and they walk their way out. They pass another guard. They pass several guards. They get outside to the WWE trucks. Apparently, we were by Corey Graves' car. Braun choke slams Bronson Reed, then grabs some steel and tosses it. Reed moves. Braun hits him with a shoulder over a car. He does that shoulder tackle, sends him flying over another car. Braun goes to grab him, but Reed pushes him into the on top of the car, hits him with the pipe. Reed climbs up on the car, up on this this concrete wall, this barricading wall, and tsunamis Braun Strowman from a very high height through the car, squishing the car. The whole roof of the car collapsed in. And it was probably gimmick, that's fine, but whatever. And this is when all the other security that didn't get beat by CM Punk and Snapdaddy himself, Adam Pearce came out calling for medics, and this ended in a no contest. It was just a big meaty men slapping meat event. All for you, Mr. Z. Paul and Heyman have the best idea to bring Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns together, so scared. I don't know where Paul Heyman said that. It would be interesting to see him bring in Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and we still don't know the status of Brock Lesnar with the WWE. An interesting thought. I would definitely want to see where Paul Heyman said that about bringing them together. I don't know if that's. I don't know if Paul Heyman would suggest that because of who Brock Lesnar is. Brock Lesnar is such a solo person.
Such a lone wolf type.
I don't know. I'd have to see how that played out. No meat. Yes, meat. All the meat for you. Could we get TNA versus WWE at Survivor Series? No, not right now. Maybe someday. You could probably get an NXT versus TNA match at whatever TNA, whatever NXT's event will be corresponding with a Survivor Series. And maybe if you're really smart, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, everybody who runs all that, maybe you do NXT. I will come back after lunch. Okay. I mean, you could do, if NXT, I mean, it's not Survivor Series, but if NXT's show that was Survivor Series weekend did their own War Games, that would be a hell of a War Games to have NXT versus TNA. I mean, you could put in one side All Ego, Ethan Page, and Wesley, and maybe Lexus King, and some other names there against TNA, where you could have Joe Hendry and the other two members of the former Rascals, MSK, and some other people to kind of balance that out. I think you could. I think it'd be a fun one. Be something different.
Yes, you definitely could, but it'd be really weird because Ethan Page has TNA history. So I'm just like, how would his character feel about that?
Yeah, but he's...
And again, in his current iteration, as the heel, he probably just talk trash and
say
he was above it.
Yeah, well, he would say...
I understand he's the NXT champion.
He's
so
Mr.
obviously,
NXT.
he'd have to...
Yes. He's Mr. NXT. I mean, the easy thing would be to say TNA was a stepping stone to get here where I deserve to be. Where real wrestlers wrestle, or where the big boys play, or whatever you want to say. I don't think it would be too far-fetched for him to crap all over him. You know what I want to see in TNA, or what I want to see in NXT? I want to see AJ Francis show up to try to dive over a top rope again. Anyways, Braun Strowman is out. He may be dead. We don't know. He got squished. And so we go back to the ring, and we get the second triple threat match for the number one contender spot. The winner of this match will get put in the match with Jey Uso and 2 other men from next week's show. And I guess in 2 weeks, we'll have the 4-way dance. So you got to keep up with everything. Anyways, The Miz versus the Bruiserweight. Pete Dunne versus Xavier Woods in this match. And this is a good match. Miz does what he does good. Xavier Woods did what he did good. And Pete Dunne pulling out the win here. Elbow drop from Woods, covered by Woods. 1, 2, Dunne in. Dunne gives a nasty boot to Woods, knocks him outside. Pump handle Miz into a bitter end. Cover 1, 2, 3. The Bruiserweight. Pete Dunne moving along. This is a good solid match. Went 11 minutes, 27 seconds. Pete Dunne and Jey Uso now in this fatal 4-way. We got to wait next week to see the other 2 members of this competition are going to be. And we know Dominic Mysterio is going to be in it, and Bronson Reed's going to be in it. There's still some big names that are going to be very interesting to see how they play into this. But this was a good match. Pete Dunne looking really good. Glad to see they're doing something finally with Pete Dunne, sending him in a proper direction.
At the beginning of the match, I really did not know who I wanted to win. But by the time we got to the end of the match, it's like the right guy won. Because really, did we want to see Miz even have another chance at the IC title? Like, 8-time champion. Okay, we get it. He's had his shot. Xavier Woods, I don't think we're really doing with him anything with him as a singles person at the moment. So, like, yeah, I see Pete Dunne almost by default as the guy who should have won, and which he did.
Anyways, we go backstage with Jackie Redmond. She's with Braun Breaker. She asked him what he thinks of the winners in the tournament so far. He says, "Bravo, great work." But both Jey and Pete. You heard Jey name dropping him. Jey better watch his mouth. There's never been a member of Jey's family that's ever beaten a member of Braun's family, and Jey will not be the first. So I'd have to look through official wrestling history to see if the Steiners ever lost to any members of the Bloodline. Of course, I don't know. Wait, that would be an interesting question. Let's see something here real quick. Did the Steiners ever lose to the... Let's see. The Steiners and the Head Shrinkers faced off at WrestleMania 9 with the Steiners winning. That may have been the only time they faced off. I see. I don't know how much of a fact. I don't know what other iterations. It'd be interesting to somebody to fact check that. I'm assuming they have those facts to know that it's true, or they probably wouldn't let them say it on air. But again, how many times did the Steiners and anybody of the Bloodline cross? When the Steiners were in WWE, the only time that would have been when the Head Shrinkers of Samu and Fatu. And they were kind of, Steiners were on their way out as the Head Shrinkers were just coming into the company or just being built into the company. And then in WCW, yeah, I don't know.
NWA/WCW.
Yeah, I would have to say the Samoan SWAT team would have been the only team over there.
That's what I was thinking.
So I don't know if they ever met the Steiners, or if they ever met. So I don't know. I have to assume that is more factual. Not. They did. Let's see. Gilbert and Steiner took on the Samoan SWAT team in '89 NWA. That's a different time and era. But I guess they had a rivalry. The Samoan SWAT team and the Steiners had a rivalry. So I'd have to wonder if they ever beat them at any point in time. Settling the score.
That's something that could be circled back on during the weekly roundup podcast.
Yeah, we will definitely have to look into that check knowledge for a time to see if there was any fact to that statement. And I'm sure it's probably true. I wouldn't think that WWE, Triple H, or anybody would let him say. But again, I don't know. He may have gone on his own thing. Anyways, he goes on
Well,
to say,
see, you can play it on either side because he's a heel, and it
Yeah.
really doesn't matter
true.
because he could just be BSing also.
As for Dunn, come on, he doesn't think so. To whoever wins, he promises him that dude, that dog, the IC heavyweight champion, the worst is yet to come. Backstage, Chad Gable is bench pressing. He stops Kenny Cromo saying he is no false prophet. He doesn't wear a mask. He doesn't send in his goons. He knows the man behind the mask. Tonight he will find out he's just an ordinary guy. He'll tap him like an ordinary. He's been dealing with someone who's anything but ordinary. He's a genius, and he will lead his guys to greatness. Tonight, howdy, we'll find out that Chad Gable is American made, American made, American made, American made, American made, American made. Yes, Chad Gable is American made, and he's going to show the world that he's American made.
All you need somewhere in the background is ho,
ho, USA. I guess they could bring Duggan out of retirement to be their manager. What else you
I
want?
don't know about that one. He's not exactly.
Tell you something, brother. When American Made runs wild on you.
Duggan can be like their mascot coming out with the American flag. Okay, there you go. He still can serve a purpose.
How about we get Canadian Duggan?
Oh, good lord.
Anyways, this leads us to the main event: Chad Gable versus Uncle Howdy. He did come out and he did wrestle in the mask. I guess we'd all been waiting to see if he was actually going to wrestle in that mask, but he did wrestle in that mask. And we got a good solid match between these two men. 13 minutes and 59 seconds. In the ring, Gable hits the top rope moonsault dive, but Howdy sidesteps, turns, hits it. So up we go. 1, 2, 3. Eventually, Gable turns. Mandible Claw was placed. The Creed brothers come out to break it up. They attack Howdy, but this then brings out Loomis, Casey, and Rowan. And then Aguinayo came out to attack, but in the end, Uncle Howdy gets his first win. Not Bo Dallas. It was Uncle Howdy. He was wearing the mask. So we'll have to see how this plays out and goes. And that was your Monday Night Raw show. Oh, geez, what, Mr. Miguel? Oh, geez, what, that you were asleep? Oh, geez, you've missed the show. Oh, geez, you weren't on air to talk. What? Little man says, what?
¿Cómo? ¿Qué?
What? You have no comment? What?
¿Cómo?
No comeback? What?
¿Cómo? ¿Qué?
What? Yeah. What?
Órale,
Yeah.
homie.
What? Yeah.
Delete.
Delete. Delete. Delete. No, I got a new chant for Mr. Z. Chop, 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 chop.
Go Eddie Kingston crazy style.
Eddie Kingston. Is there any way we can figure out? You're going to be in WrestleMania weekend? Is there any way we can find you in town? I would beg you, sir, whatever it would take. Could we get you, Mr. Eddie Kingston, to chop my boy, Mr. Miguel Z, for the Choppy World Tour, and you can go full Eddie Kingston choppy style on him. Go home. Yeah. What? So, Mr. Z, you have 10 seconds to reply, or we're going to go find Eddie Kingston. Let him go. Eddie Kingston, choppy style wild on you. Are you ready? 1.
Let's get ready to chop it.
3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8, 9. 10 seconds, Mr. Z. 10 seconds to get your chance to back out. 9.5. Dun, dun, dun. 10. Okay, Mr. Z has fully agreed by not answering the 10 count to be choppy by one Eddie Kingston. Hi, guy. He'd probably take a choppy from Chris Jericho because it'd be so soft.
Or what about from Soft Serve?
Kotushka Akara? Yeah.
Okada-san.
Akara-san. Mr. Z, where'd you go? Why'd you leave?
So does that mean we have to go to an AW show? Or does that mean we're trying to find a New Japan Strong show to find Eddie Kingston?
Gonna find Eddie Kingston. Hey, Stockton Con. Let's get Eddie Kingston at Stockton Con. That would be awesome. Eddie Kingston at Stockton Con. Now, that would be a fun time in the old town.
Yeah!
Yeah. Anyways, I'm still just kind of killing time thinking Mr. Z would pop up and say something, but maybe he ran away. He got scared. He's shaking in his boots, hiding in the corner. Sheamus. What about Sheamus? Oh, you want Mr. Z to get shot by Sheamus. Happy World Tour. Congratulations. You have to do what the fans say, Mr. Z. Whatever the fans suggest, whoever they suggest, you have to do it because you're doing it for the fans. And that's what this is all about. It's why we're here. It's why we do this. For the fans. For the subscribers. Whatever names they suggest, you're just kind of stuck with it. You have to, right? Anywho, I guess Mr. Z went back to sleepy sleep.
That'd be a good call.
This is your Raj post show tomorrow on Patreon. Go over and check out the Patreon. It's a link in the description below. You can go watch the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast. Hopefully, Mr. Z has that done, ready to be sent in so it can be posted. And then it'll be up on the YouTube on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, you also will get the seat in Martin We Trust, which I guess Shane A. Ibot is going to talk about Rikishi's recent statements and comment. Sorry, bro, not sorry. Don't be sorry. So we're going to hear about Shane's thoughts about Rikishi and Jey Uso joining AEW. Anywho, Friday we'll be back with your SmackDown post-show review. We'll cover SmackDown. And after SmackDown, we will cover Bash in Berlin. Saturday morning, we'll be watching Bash in Berlin. Then me and Mr. Z are going to hop a ride to the beautiful city of Sacramento, California. We're going to go to California Automobile Museum, and we're going to meet up with SPW, Supreme Pro Wrestling, Bruising for Bruising. It's going to be a live show. Doors open at 5 p.m., first bell at 6 p.m. If you weren't there with us this past one for the SPW Lemonade, this is a great event, great action with such great names. First Samurai, Mustafa Saeed, Umaid, Jekyll's. There's some great stuff going on in Supreme Pro Wrestling. I promise you, it's worth the entertainment. It's worth the value. It's worth the buck. Who called my name? We talked all about you. Anyway, sir, you've already been submitted to get choppied by Sheamus because that was a fan request. And so you're going to have to get chopped by Sheamus because you got to do it for the fans. And then since you didn't answer the 10 count that we gave you, and it was a fair 10 count, Mr. Clarke can vouch that, it was a slow, fair 10 count. It wasn't rushed. You have to get choppy by Eddie Kingston. So I gave you a fair 10 count to answer the 10 count. You didn't answer, so We're going to find Eddie Kingston, and you have to do the Choppy Choppy World Tour with Eddie Kingston in the Eddie Kingston chop style. Hi, guy. Exactly. That's what happens when you're not here. See? You're not here to defend yourself. You get stuck. Yes. 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 So, Sheamus was a fan request. I can't help what the fans said. Yep. It's going to be the machine gun chop. Because we were doing that, because you missed the whole thing. We were doing the delete chant because we were calling your name, and then I'm like, no, we got a new chant. Chop, 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 chop. Yep, and then that's when the Eddie Kingston idea came up. So we can either find him at an AEW show, a New Japan Strong show, or like I said, hey, Stockton Con. Can we get Eddie Kingston to come to Stockton Con? That would be fun. That would be a man I'd love to have on the channel.
We don't want to have to go all the way to New York to find him.
But when you're working on the show that needs to be fixed for tomorrow, it happens. Hey. Multitask. I don't know what to tell you.
Hopefully that show is done by tomorrow morning, because if it's not, I'm going to be out all day.
So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being here. Monday Night Post Show Review. We talked about tomorrow. We talked about Wednesday. We talked about next Friday. We talked about Saturday. Next Sunday, we'll be back with the weekly roundup podcast. It's normal and everything. Next week, next week, everything should be fine, except there won't be any live SmackDown show. Because I won't be here. I'm going to go celebrate my birthday. Because you know what? Sometimes you just got to pack up and take a little trip.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Hell to the yes, sir. And then we'll be back with everything normal as Saturday rolls into place. And we have to watch All Out, do a post show on All Out. So we'll see what happens with Dynamite. Bryan Danielson, your new AEW champion. Bravo. If you did see our show last night, go check it out on the channel. People who say there's people who text somebody on this chat on this platform for saying great things about AEW or slightly negative things about AEW, but we're over here going, it was a balance between good and bad for me, but we discussed all that. You can go watch that. It's up on the channel. A little bit of the bubbly. Hi guys.
Jeez.
That's how we should do it. You know what? We should do the world tour of the Choppy Choppy World Tour with Mr. Z before he gets chopped. Going, hi guys, I'm Mr. Z and I'm going to get chopped. And then take a chop.
This is Jackass Chopped Edition.
AEW fans hate me. Well, that's because you make them hate you. Don't act like you're an innocent victim in this, that they just hate you.
You go out of your way.
Exactly. Don't come out. AEW fans hate me. It's like, wait a minute. Don't be like the victim. Like, they just hate me. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on that makes me hate them. I mean, granted, yes, sometimes you speak facts and they don't like facts. I get that. But sometimes it's not just the fact that you put facts out there. It's the way you word those facts. It's you're the guy that we can never take into the the White House or the suitcase and the red button is. You're the guy that if we were stuck in a building and there was a button that said don't push this button, me and Mr. Clarke would have to tie you up because you'd be the guy that would push the button. Of course, I don't care. I know you don't. That's the point. Of course, I might actually have to tie up Mr. Clarke too because he does have a tendency to get like, but what would it do? But what if? He does have a little bit of sometimes just wanting to go.
Excellent.
Yeah, exactly. You would have to know Mr. Clarke to understand that he might be the one to push the button too. Just curiosity kills the cat. Because if you want to go back to the day, you never told me and Mr. Clarke not to do something. That was just an invitation to do it. Oh, Mr. Clarke, you never made reference to my comment about how MJF stole Mystico's hat from that Halloween party. Or do you even remember that far back?
I don't remember a particular hat.
The big USA hat, and I had my face painted, and we went to the party, and we got kicked out. Well, we didn't kick out. We left because it's black magic.
Yeah, I remember that part of it. I remember the Triangle of Fear bit.
Yeah, I had the big USA hat for that Halloween. When he wore that out, I'm like, I had that hat, and I had that flashback. Oh, what does this button do? Anyways. No, you're not. Oh, what does this button do? You're just like, oh, don't. Okay. What does this button do? It's more Mr. Clarke, where he sits there going, well, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, really, what's the worst that could happen? At least Mr. Clarke would give me time because he would think about it. You would just be over there going, yeah, yeah. Anyways, welcome to the Value of Wrestling, where we like to have fun and goof off and talk about everything wrestling and other things that just happen to come up in the world of life as we're doing this. We thank you all for coming to the chat. We thank you for having the conversation with us in your Monday night post-show review. I don't think there's anything else left to say for you at this point. So let's call it a night. Let's get out of here. Mr. Clarke, tell him goodbye.
Good night, Mr. Clarke.
You're not Randy Orton. You don't get to use that excuse.
This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.